welcome back to Colin's Arran garden. I'm sorry I've been away for so long. Combination of a few of life's hiccups and the fact I didn't really think I had anything really brilliant to tell you after last year. However, I've got a few ideas now which I think might help some of you, hopefully. First of all, I'd like to talk about raised beds. My God is, of course, and your God too, probably Charles Dowding, wonderfully intuitive gardener who's done great stuff for us all. But he advocates no dig. I'll go along with that. But he also advocates no raised beds. Not so good. If Charles Dowding was here just now, or 5 years ago, with his cultivation on soil level, and he got 120 inches of rain just at the side of Goat Fell here, I don't think there'll be much left. So raised beds are good for soaking up the water when there's lots of it, as there was a few months ago, and during periods of drought, guess what? The water's there, right? So here we are in Arran, we haven't had rain here for 8 weeks. And I think some of you will be having a lot of a job watering, especially those on spring water supplies that have run out, as we're about to, maybe. Anyway, so raised beds, they do have their point in Arran, I think, right? The other thing about raised beds, I think I've touched on this before, I dived into a thing called hugelkultur. Hugelkultur. It's a German way of putting rotting wood in the bottom of beds, and supposedly the carbon and other stuff is all recycled. This isn't quite a hugelkultur, it's called a hugelkultur beet, that's B-E-E-T, which is the German for a hugelkultur bed. It doesn't quite have all the attributes, but I think if you have a wee look in here, you'll see lots of rotting wood and lots of soil, and you're probably wondering, why is it empty? Well, one of those times in life when we've got 8 weeks of drought, I can engage my primary gardening passion. And I was up at 6 o'clock this morning fighting the midges off, doing this at 6. And all Jill could hear when she was still half asleep was a clang, batter, thud. And I am sifting the soil. And you'll probably think I'm nuts. Well, yeah, I'm nuts, you know. But I can't tell you the pleasure I get from this. Because look, I've got all this soil in the bottom of the bed. And look, if you look in there, you'll see all that rotting wood. And look at the mycelium of the fungi. The fungi are our friends. We are fungi. We couldn't exist without fungi. But they could exist without us. Anyway, so there we are in this bed. And while we're at it, 80% of the nitrogen in our food comes from dead bacteria. So if you're a gardener, what you're doing is really gardening microbes. We're no different from cows, right? So we're just using the microbes and making food. The dead bacteria, the dead microbes. Anyway, so there, all that stuff there. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? But you know what? Of my 50 raised beds like this, yes, it is psychiatric. The beds, as you know, I'm sure if you've those got raised beds, soil drops all the time. So you've got to get more. So what I've done is almost completely sifted this entire bed, which was full of seaweed, horse manure, spent hops, grass, you name it. And horse manure, did I mention that? Yes, horse manure. And so it's been in here for 5 years, and it's quite interesting to look at the way this wood is rotting, and look at all the fungi coming out of there, and that's all breaking down. So now I'm taking that in my hand, or I hit it with a mattock, like that. Take this, look at that. Would a seed grow in that? No way, right? So what you do is go like that, then you batter it like that. Now look at this. Isn't that fantastic, right? And around me here, I have got 60 bags of that. And this is going to be going on the top 6 inches, as Charles Dowding suggests we should do, top of the beds, all those beds over there, all those 49 beds. And what I'm going to do is move my compost heap up here. I know it sounds mad, it is mad, but you know what, I love it. Anyway, so that's all that. Now, with regards to raised beds, goodness me, they're expensive. Each of these beds could have built a shed. One bit of wood, the length of that's 15 quid. Not everybody can afford that. You've got to be innovative. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is innovative. Right, so, here we are. This is something innovative. What's this? Well, you've probably seen that when you've been walking around the forest trails. These are huge big pipes that come in lorries. They cost about £1,800 for a 7 metre length. But guess what? Sometimes there are bits that are left over. Look at that. This can be moved around the garden, make a compost heap out of it, plank it down, raised bed. Very simple. I didn't cut this off in the forest. I actually got this from a friendly merchant and it was very, very cheap. So that's an idea for you. So here we are in the rapidly filling polytunnel. Well, what I'm going to show you now is something many of you may know. It was something new to me till last year and I'm having great success with it. And that is, once again from Charles Dowding, if you take a wire, right, and if you're going to plant your tomatoes, what you do is, when you plant your tomato in, you put the wire underneath the ball of the tomato, and then you attach the wire to something stable at the top, right? And then, as the plant grows, you twist it round, right? Like that. You can, if you're clever, just slowly undo that and have someone hold the plant while you twist it around and it's easy, you work out your own method. But while we're on that subject, if I could strongly recommend, there's a wire you get that's partly metally and they use it as electric deer fencing for, and you can cut it with scissors and it's very strong and I use it for lots of things. So I'd really recommend this stuff, right? So that's me just about finished, but look at the polytunnel. It's doing well with sweet corn and lots of things growing. And well, I hope you're as successful in your garden as I've been so far this year. So that's goodbye from Colin's Arran Garden.